The work of the church reveals the heart of God. The world watches and sees the goodness of the Lord. Compassion, wisdom, generosity, joy, reverence, faithfulness. These are reflections of the heart of God. Look around McFarlin and you'll see glimmering, life-giving evidence of God's goodness in our midst.
Through these ladies, through this group, I have really learned a lot about God's heart. And it has changed me. It has changed the way I see things. We love each other. We're sisters. And that came because God brought us together. There's no accident.
Being able to be a safe space for each other, I think is really important. You know, we live in a world where everybody kind of has to get dressed and put on their mask in the morning and meet the demands of so many different people. And it's really nice to walk through that door on Sunday morning and just to be able to be yourself and be real and sit with things that just hurt and celebrate things that are really beautiful and exciting, and to have people who want to do that with you and care enough to sit with you when you hurt and celebrate with you when you're excited.
So what I look forward to when I go to our classroom is the opportunity to be authentic and to be real and not have the distractions of the outside world and the outside pressures and all the other factors in life bearing down on me. I can just sort of put those down, sit with my cup of coffee next to my wife, and just exist with people who are going through the same stuff in the same place. And it is just soul restoring. Just sometimes just to know you're not alone and that the connection is there with people who care about you and you care about them.
We're called to love one another. That's what the church was created to do. Not just go out and be preachy, but to show God's love. I just want everyone to feel that, to feel the way I do about Him, how the Holy Spirit just moves me, the thing, that He's done for me throughout my entire life. And life's not easy all the time. It's not easy for me. It's not easy for any of us. But when I know I have a family at church, at McFarlin, this family at McFarlin, it just gives me confidence. It makes me feel so loved and cared for. And I think that is what we're called to do for one another.
In the age of social media and all the components therewith, to put on the perfect facade, this is a place for real authenticity that you can bring to the table and just talk about how we can share more than we would with the understanding and the knowledge that realism takes guts, and the backbone of that is trust.
I think about the history of this church often, especially when you sit in the sanctuary. You can't help but look around and think of all the families that have sat in those same pews. It's a big responsibility, and this church has been through, I'm sure, a great deal over the years. And now we're seeing a pandemic that has been unlike anything any of us have seen. But I think that we just need to carry on. We need to let God lead us. He's still here. The pandemic may be here. He hasn't gone anywhere, and we still have a job to do.
We're so fortunate at McFarlin that the leadership recognizes that we have to keep creating. And so whether that is new classes or it's welcoming people into our ministries, into our small groups, there needs to be room for God to be able to create. And in our classroom, we're so intentional about allowing God to welcome new people into our group. This isn't our world, it's God's. And so who am I to say, you can't sit there, you can't come to my Sunday school class, What if that person is the one person who can speak to something that we've been struggling with for the last 2 years? And so I think it's exciting to think about the people who haven't come through our door yet. We have incredible people around our table, but there's always room for one more.
So when my family and I give to McFarlin, whether it be our tithing of money, our time, we're confident in knowing that it's going into ministries that are helping not only the families in McFarlin, but the whole community. I've seen the things that McFarlin does for people, feeding people. I've been here on Thursday mornings. I've seen the people lined up. There's so many people that are hurting. There's so many people who are hungry, especially now with this pandemic. And McFarlin, the ministries that they offer just seem to fill those gaps and take care of those pains for people. And the only way that we can continue to do that is if we give back, if we be the hands and feet of Christ, as we're called to do as Christians. Because just one or two people can't do that on their own. It takes the entire church to do that and to love these people and let these people know they're cared for. And they're cared for by people who love Christ.